Yeah, with Cam Fowler, senior from the Northwood boys basketball team, and his mom Kelly as well. Here we are here because Cam got nominated top 10 for the Naismith Courage Award for a lot of athletes around the country that have overcome some obstacles in their sports seasons and are doing well both on the court and outside of the court. And Cam, of course, guys, just get a little background on your guys' story. The day after Christmas, the family home did burn down, but Cam, right in the gym just after that, still doing well on the court. Also picked up some responsibility at home as well to help out his mom in this tough time for the family. So guys, I just want to start with that day, right? The day after Christmas, correct? You guys just share what happened that day.
Hmm.
Start.
So I woke up, I guess at like 5:47. I remember exactly because typically the trash comes on Thursdays, but Christmas was Thursday, so the trash didn't come. So I was assuming that the trash was going to come Friday. So we always forget to put the trash out. So we have to wait a whole another week before the trash comes again, and we go through trash. I don't even know, it's crazy. So I was laying in bed and I heard something, and I was just assuming that it was the trash truck. So I was like, thinking, I was like, dang, like I forgot to take the trash out again. Well, then I laid there because I kept hearing something, and I was just like, what is that noise? So it sounded like a huge campfire. That's what it sounded like. And I had my window cracked because it was fairly warm Christmas Day and then, into the night. So I had my window cracked, and so I just kind of like peeked out my window. When I peeked out my window, I could see the light from what looked like a fire. And so I was like, that's awful close. So I got up and I went in the living room and I looked out the living room window, and that's when I saw the transformer laying on the ground and it was on fire. And I didn't really know what to do at that point. Because there's more going on outside than there was inside the house. So at this point, our house was not on fire. So I just didn't really know what to do. And then as I'm looking out the window, that it exploded one time, and I was like, oh man. And so our lights flickered. But then after it like blew up, it came back on, and like our lights came back on. So I went and woke him up, and he gets up, and I really don't know the everything, because it just all, I felt like, happened so fast, but also happened really slow at the same time. So I went and got him. I was like, I don't know what we should do. I said, I don't know if we should leave or what, or get out, So I grabbed my dog. That's the first thing I grabbed, because, he's 18. He can get out the house. It ain't like I got to corral him out the door or anything. So I grabbed my dog, and we have a cat, but she's very skittish and scared. So she went and hid immediately once all the commotion started, and, the power was flickering on and off. Because, I think the transformer blew probably 3 or 4 times before it actually completely just stopped. And he took a video outside. But anyway, so I grabbed the dog. I throw him in the car. We get in the car because I thought we were going to leave, because I was like, I want to get away from this whole thing. I kind of felt like we were in the middle of everything, and I saw cops down here barricading the roads and cops down here barricading the roads, but nobody else was around us. It was just us. And I thought we were going crazy, or I was anyway. I can't speak for him. So anyway, we get in the car and we drive down the driveway, but we couldn't leave because the power lines were across our driveway. So there was no way for us to get out. So that's when I kind of backed the car up a little bit, and I got out, and then that's when he started like videoing and then, screaming for help, because we didn't really know what to do. And then it was that last explosion that sent the whatever to my electrical box in the house, and that started catching fire. So that's when I had finally called 911, and I was just like, and then they were like, are you calling about the transformer on fire? And I was like, well, yes and no. I said, my house is on fire now. And it didn't completely burn down, but it is unlivable. The whole electrical system in it I honestly really don't know what they're going to have to do. I just know the back porch, the smoke damage. We were very lucky, and blessed to get out what we got out, which is ourselves and most of our clothes and, and my dog. That's my baby. So, and eventually, like, we got back in and we got the cat, and so she's fine too, and everything. But yeah, I mean, we were very blessed. I mean, some people don't, live to say that they were able to get stuff, but that was my worst fear, was losing everything, and that didn't happen. And I think from there, it's like once we got out and I called 911 and he took off somewhere, and then I get nervous about like where he was at, because I was like, well, where did he go? And then finally the cop came back, and because I was running in and out of the house just grabbing stuff, because at that point you really don't know what you're going to lose or what you're going to be able to get once the fire gets out. And I was in a night robe, and I took off my night robe, and I'm trying to like trying to put out the fire on the electrical box myself, and that didn't work, obviously. But it was just a weird, freak accident. Ultimately the trash truck is the one that took the power lines down, that caused the ripple effect of everything. Which, I don't blame him. It was an accident, and, but that was kind of my take on it. I don't know what went through his mind, other than I just remember him screaming to ask him that we needed help because our house was on fire. So.
No, is this the house you grew up in, like all your life, Cam? Or?
No, sir. We moved here about what, like 2, 3, or has it been longer than that?
We've been in that house probably 2.5 years.
Yeah, 2.5 years.
Yeah.
But I like living with my grandma, and then we moved to the apartments, and then we moved here. But
yeah, when we first moved up here, we lived with my mom, and we lived with my mom, I guess, until my mom and my brother, until he was about 7, and then that's when I went through cosmetology school and got a job and did all the things, and I was like, it's time for me to move out, because I don't know, there was too many adults in one, so me and him got our own place, our first own place, when he was about 7 or 8, and we lived in the apartments up behind Lowe's Home Improvement, and we stayed there probably for about 7 or 8 years until we rented this house on Thompson Street, and then now
it's a nice little home too.
Yeah, I mean, I loved it. It was small, it was nice. I mean, it was perfect for me and him,
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, given that was home now for you guys past few years, I mean, what were your emotions that morning when it happened?
I wouldn't have woke up if my mom wouldn't have woke me up, because I mean, I'm a heavy sleeper, and I mean, so when she came in my room, like knocking, talking about get up, come look outside. Like, I was half asleep. I got up. I was like, what's going on? And I look out my living room window, and the transformer is like, I would say like crackling.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like big pop rocks, and it's just really bright outside, and it's just making, like she said, it's like a loud campfire. And then she was like we gotta get out of the house, like. And then I think she mentioned, or I was thinking in my head, cause like a few months back, some dude from the power line people came to our house and was like, that power line's connected to our house. That's what I was thinking, but I think she said it. That's why we got out of the house. And so, cause everybody else's like power lines is underground.
That's what they were saying. They said the new 8 whatever is, they put the power line, or they put the electricity, they run it underground. But ours house was so old, like, I guess the landlord hadn't done that yet, which, I mean, I don't think that was even a thought of, I don't even know. I didn't even know they put electricity underground.
I don't even think you remember saying that.
I don't.
But yeah, she said it, and then we got out the house, and then we go outside, and then it like explodes. And then that's when I scream, and I'm like, yo, we need help. Like, like, Mom, we need help. I think it's like about to blow our house up.
That was my worst fear. I really thought that because I didn't know what a transformer could actually do, like, or what. I mean, I don't know if you've ever heard a transformer on fire or blowing up or anything, but it's.
It sounded like a bomb.
It was insane. I mean, the firemen said that they could see it from the circle when they got the call of the first call of the transformer being on fire. He said they took off and they were at the circle. He said they could see it lit up the whole entire sky, and they could see that from the circle.
It was so bright.
Yeah, it was crazy. It was probably one of the
so bright.
Yeah.
So traumatic. Like so traumatic.
Yeah, it was pretty intense.
So were you screaming for help from like neighbors?
No, nobody was outside.
Nobody was outside, just us. I don't even know. I mean,
there was only 2 policemen barricading. So I ran to the closest one. He was talking about, you gotta stay there. I'm like, man, my house on fire. Like, come on, man. Like, I know you got a fire extinguisher somewhere. Like, the fire wasn't that big at that point yet, cause I mean, it just went, and it just exploded, and then just went to our house. So I weaved through the, I'm athletic, so I weaved through the power lines and stuff, and I get to the policeman, and he talking about, wait dear. I'm like, no, like my house is on fire. Like I need somebody to come, like get this fire like gone, cause I don't want my house to burn down. I'm gonna lose everything I have, like, So and then I have to, like, he's telling me to wait over here. I'm waiting over here. Like, I'm trying to see where my mom at. I can't see where she at. And this dude, the policeman, has me just standing over here, and I can't really do nothing. Then my uncle comes around, and then, I see firefighters come, and then they got the transformer, I think, before they got our house.
I don't know. Because
But
at this point,
I'm glad that we safe. That is the only. I'm glad.
Yeah.
I'm glad my mom's safe. I'm glad my dog, my cat safe. I'm glad I got some clothes, some shoes. I'm very grateful. I'm glad God had His hands over us. Because at that time, and I'm really grateful my mom was there. Really grateful, because she would go like over to her like boyfriend's house just to stay there, just to hang out, and I'll just be chilling at the crib, just playing a game or something, and I'll go to sleep. Like I'm so grateful she was there. Like
I think that was one of the worst things for me, is like just to kind of think of what if I wouldn't have been there, and he wouldn't have woke up, and I don't know what would have happened, but I can't think about that. So next.
Yeah, but also with that, right after everything went down and you guys had to think about what's next. I mean, what were kind of the thoughts and emotions there with just trying to figure out where to make the next step?
The first few days we was just in shock.
Yeah, I think the first few days it was like really I was in shock. So my fiance, he just got a new place in Siler City, a 1-bedroom apartment for him, and and I would go over there and hang out and and stuff. But I never thought that was going to be like my home, I guess. But he was very just, I don't know. I think he kind of just jumped in survival mode with me. Just like, okay, we're going to get all your stuff. We're going to move you in. Like, this is your home now. Like, everything was just kind of, I'm not going to say like a little makeshift home, but, we had somewhere to go. And my mom, she has a 2-bedroom house. So, of course, that was the obvious option for him because, it's here still in Northwoods District, and I don't need anybody to cause any problems about him not living in Pittsboro. So, I just said, just stay with your grandma and your uncle, and then, I can go move in with Wes, and, that way both of us have a place to stay. And I think all the emotions ran high for me the first week is just because, I've only ever lived with him. I've never lived with a man. Other than my mom and my dad and my brother. I mean, like, I've never lived with somebody full time. And other than them. And I think for me, it was just not having somewhere to go, like my own. And so that first week, it was just kind of it was kind of hard, or the first couple of weeks was kind of hard because I was just like, I don't have anywhere to go it's like your safe spot, like, or your safe space. And, I talk to him a lot because, we're apart now. And I think that's the hardest part for me because, he's graduating. And, like, this is the last few months that I'm going to have with him. So I think, like, making the best of a hard situation right now, is what we have to do because, like I said, I've never been apart from him. So, and even though he's 18 and whatever, I mean, he's still my baby, so I don't know.
And Cam, I mean, for you, on your side of things, like, what's like kind of being away from your mom, pretty much like you said, for the first time, and you're like, not coming home and seeing her.
He probably loves that.
No, she always says that. I mean, yeah, I like my alone time. I like to stay in my room, chill, But not coming like, after practice, not coming home and just like being able to come into my home, like, our home, because, like she said, we never been apart. We've always lived together. I mean, it's always just been us, like us two, like living. And, I don't know, it's just, I've had my days where it's just like, I just want to go home, like, and I mean, the only outlet I got is for basketball. So I'll go to the gym. I mean, my uncle, he's been helping me with go lift. I mean, he's been a big part of this process as well. I mean, just not being able to go home and my mom being there, not seeing my mom every day. It sucks a little bit. It does. It sucks. And because I know she does everything for me. Everything. And, like, I know I make her angry a lot. I know I'm not the best, but I really do appreciate everything she does. And it's a little sad not being able to see my mom every day. Yeah. But it's going to be okay. I know we're gonna get through it. So.
Yeah. And I heard the night of, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the night of the incident with your house, you were in the gym at I want to say at Northwood putting up shots. That's what I heard.
Like 2 hours later. Well, not 2 hours later.
It was, yes, sir.
Oh, so it wasn't even
like,
the night. Okay.
No,
it was because of what we got done. Me and Unc went to get food at like 6:45.
Yeah, because this all started at like I said, like right before 6 o'clock in the morning, and then, I mean, we had to stick around because the police were doing the police reports and all that stuff. But I think they ended up, once we got everything out of the house that was kind of like valuable, I guess, to a certain extent. Like our bed and our stuff like that's still there, but we got the majority of the clothes, the TVs out there at somebody's house. I don't know. We had so many people show up for us that morning, and I think that was like the biggest thing because it's just like, we have a village, and I know we do, and sometimes I kind of fail to, acknowledge that of just there's so many people that love us, and throughout this whole process of like there's so many people that have shown us that they love us and that they're there for us. But I mean, like my fiance, and then my best friend Jamel, and then her boyfriend was there. I mean, his best friend Jagger, he was there. That was just the immediate people, not to mention like my brother. He goes to work super early, so he was like driving through town, I guess, as all this was going on, and he saw like what was going, I guess, like not what was going on, but he could see like something was going on. So he was texting me, but I don't even know where, I didn't even get the text, and he was just like, are y'all okay? But that was probably 10-15 minutes after everything was kind of like, happening. But then he was just like, he just showed up. I don't even know where he came from. He just showed up from somewhere. And then, but after it was all said and done, like when we got everything of his stuff, like to my mom's, and, we had loaded down 3 trucks to move things, and just, yeah, I think he had called Vernon. I don't know who called who or what happened, but Coach Brown and then Vernon and then.
I think I texted Brown first, and then I texted Vernon because Brown told me to text Vernon, so I texted Vernon. And I was like, "Can I go? I just go hoop. Like I'm just trying to hoop real quick."
Yeah. So him and Jagger went and played.
Yeah, Jagger showed up a little bit later.
Oh.
I think I went. I don't know. I stayed there. I was there for like an hour, and then Jagger showed up, and we stayed for a couple more hours. So we got some good hoops in, and that calmed my mind down a little bit. Got me a little bit relaxed. I mean, I was still in shock, but it just basketball always calmed me down. So that's the first thing I went to.